That is a funky beat.
I like it, though. I like it.
Me too.
I'm pretty sure it's going to change pretty soon, but here we go. All right, everybody. Welcome back to New Wave Media. This is episode number 5. I am your host, George Padilla, and I'm here with the lovely Elijah Lundgren.
What up, y'all?
And I should have said, with my co-host, Elijah Lundgren.
Okay, buddy.
All right, what's up, man?
How you been?
What's the big elephant in the room here?
All right,
What's going on?
All right. So
It's
here's
been
the
a
thing. We missed a week.
Unfortunately, we missed a week.
We missed a week. And I think that it's important for us to address that we missed a week. Mm-hmm. And that does not align with the goals that we have set out for ourselves. It's a little bit disappointing.
I'm thinking about your mom.
You should be.
Not in a weird way.
Anyway.
But because I almost interrupted you. Here we go.
Well, you interrupted me. Actually, that's how that actually ended up working out. But anyway.
Okay.
We missed a week. We don't want to miss weeks. It is not something we want to make a habit of. This is really important to us. And doing it every Monday is the goal.
It is.
However.
Tell me about it. What is
I'm not here trying to make excuses.
I mean,
I don't want to make excuses. I want
right.
to take responsibility for the fact that we missed a week. And for the 3 people that watched this so far.
Actually, it's 2. It's just you and I.
It's just you and I.
Just you.
So
wait, 3. Just you and I. Your
and
mom.
Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, shit. We got 4.
4 people. 4. Shout out to all 4 of you.
But okay. So in all seriousness, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm going to make excuses. We had some pretty good reasons to miss a week.
Yes, we did. And
some of them, okay, actually that's not true. We have a couple of good reasons to have missed a week. We also have a couple of bad reasons.
Yes. And if it's what I think you're going to say, which is like camping.
Yeah, so we went camping.
We but
to be fair, that really doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we missed Monday. It more so has to do with the fact that we haven't recorded. Basically, that we waited a week and we missed a week. This is going to come out in a couple of days, which is the next Monday after the last Monday. But George in particular, but George and I have kind of had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Professionally, personally, everything in between. And we both really felt that we needed to disconnect.
Little escapee.
Get out of town. And so we went camping out toward the Oregon coast, very close to Seaside, Oregon. Mm-hmm. And we had planned to stay. We went Wednesday night. We had planned to stay Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and go home Saturday.
Yeah.
We ended up leaving a day early, partially because we felt guilty for the fact that we hadn't done anything, and partially because we took a bike ride. You want to talk about that bike ride?
Yeah. So here's the thing. The bike ride, we've been doing some mountain biking, and a lot
mountain biking is we have been doing some biking whilst upon mountain bikes.
And not necessarily mountain bike trails,
right.
But just not pavement.
Yes. So that is the embodiment of this bike ride that we went on.
And what did we do? Like, was it 8 miles at the end of the day?
It was, I think it was about 8 miles, which is honestly real talk.
It's not bad at all.
It's not. It's pretty soft. We could have done more.
No, here's the thing though. On the way on that bike trail, we were like, man, we're having such a good time. Yeah. We were like,
we were cruising for the most part. There was a couple of spots where we kind of had to climb a little bit.
Yeah.
But we were cruising and it felt good, and we were on this gravel road in the middle of the forest right next to the Nehalem River. So we were like riding along the river. It's like 75 degrees outside. It was sunny.
Great.
It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. We had just eaten burgers. We were like charged. We were ready. We were down for this ride.
I almost had 2 burgers.
Had 2, but then
then you're like, no, we should probably have 1 because we're going to go on a bike ride.
Yeah, man.
Like, we
should control ourselves. We're about to go exercise.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're cruising. We're feeling good. It's a good ride. We're enjoying ourselves.
The whole time I was telling you, like, yo, are we going up? It feels like we're going up, but we're not pedaling.
Right.
And just the grade, like the river.
It was the reality is it was just mostly flat, except for like 3 spots where we went very downhill. Mm-hmm. And I've run into this problem in the past. I've gone on some 10, 15, close to 20-mile bike rides in the past. And on a couple of those, what you don't realize is on your way to wherever you turn around or loop around or whatever it is, on your way to that point, you're going slightly downhill. Mm-hmm. And so what you don't realize is that means the entire way back,
you have to go uphill.
You're 100% going uphill, which, we have decent bikes. We have a lot of gears, and our bikes are geared well for climbs.
Yeah.
But we're not.
Yeah, definitely not in shape for that.
I think that the moderate climb part of things, where it wasn't really steep, but it wasn't flat and it wasn't downhill. We were kind of just slightly climbing. For the most part, that was fine. Like it wasn't bad. But there was a couple of spots on the way back that were like real steep uphills. They weren't very long, but they were steep, and we were out of shape. So
the climb was it? I think your watch had a little bit higher elevation. You turned it on first.
I think we ended up doing
it's like 200.
No. It was closer to like 400 feet of elevation gain.
Yeah,
but it was in short, steep bursts, basically.
Yeah,
and so we get to I think we had done 3 climbs. Mm-hmm. And we take a break. Like we took a break after pretty much every one of the steep climbs, right? Yeah. We get to that last steep climb, the third one, and we take a break, and we're like, oh, man.
I genuinely thought we had at least 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, more. We thought we had more. We thought we had a while before we got back to camp. We thought there was going to be like a fat downhill to bring us into camp.
I was so excited for that.
We left that last break, and we went slightly downhill, and then we were at our campsite.
Like within 40 seconds.
It was really, really, really rough. And so here's the thing, like it felt really good. It was a really good workout. It was really gratifying to do some of those things that if we normally looked at that, we'd be like, oh, hell no. I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
But we had to, because we had to get back to camp. So we did it, and it felt good. But man, I swear to God, I felt that ride for like 3 days. Like, and normally, like, we've done some pretty physical stuff. Like, we've done some shorter rides, less distance, that are more like jump oriented and like, a little bit more like mountain bike kind of stuff. And those, like, I think you would agree, were really physically taxing in a really small amount of time.
Yeah, I agree.
This shit, man, was different. It was different.
A big part of the reason why we ended up not coming back Saturday, and instead we came back, was it Friday morning? Yeah,
we left Friday morning. Like, we got up and immediately packed our stuff and left. We didn't eat. We didn't have a fire. We did nothing. We got up, we packed up, we pieced out.
So this was more of a spontaneous trip. Yeah. This was like one of those things where it's like, we actually have on our calendars this upcoming week to go camping.
Right.
But it was like a spontaneous, like, hey, man, there's a lot going on. I've got these 3 days for free, 4 days for free.
It was, if I remember correctly, we went to we did a client venue tour, like a consult kind of thing.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And while we were doing that consult, we were having some really kind of like heavy conversation about some business that we're working on. Mm-hmm. And we got to the end of that consult, standing in the sun, like looking at this wedding venue. We got to the end of things.
Yeah.
And I think I looked at you and I was like, dude, we need to go camping. We need to just, like, you don't have anything this weekend. I don't have anything this weekend. We need to just step away from all this for a minute and just leave. Like, disconnect, get off our phones, go eat some burgers in the forest, sleep on an air mattress, go ride our bikes. Like, just go do some self-care, because you and I both are really not good about doing for ourselves, right? Exactly. We're not very good about taking time off to, like, recharge and do things we enjoy and not be stressed about work or personal or something. Like, there's something always happening. And so I think it was really necessary. And,
I did too. Absolutely. I had a great time. I think, well, for me, one of the biggest reasons why I was like, hey, maybe we should go back home tomorrow morning was, first of all, I haven't gone camping in literal years.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things for me is, like, you mentioned like this is a little teaser of what's to come in the summer, and you'll really find out what you're gonna get into and what you'll need. And so like the stuff that I brought, I mean I literally brought like 1/4 of what you brought.
Yeah. You brought. I mean, we can basically list it out. Like, you brought your tent,
my tent, my sleeping bag, my Mamiya, which is a medium format camera, and just a change of clothes. Well, besides pots and pans,
couple changes of
and
clothes.
like
you brought pots and
batteries
pans. You brought like a mobile battery that we used to charge all our stuff and run our air mattress pump, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
And you brought like a sponge and some dish soap.
Pots and pans.
Yeah. I brought
like just literally 2 with 2 forks, 2 knives, and that's
I think I brought my tent, my air mattress, 2 sleeping bags and a blanket, your air mattress, which you were just planning to sleep on the ground.
I was just going to sleep on the ground.
Which would have been awful because we were on like gravel.
And I didn't understand that. Well, I guess we could have picked any campsite.
Sure.
But the one that we picked, we were like, man, this is kind of like away from everyone and whatnot. Like, I was on an incline.
A little bit, yeah.
And even with the air mattress, I feel like I was sliding down.
That's what I was, So when we set up, I kind of mentioned that to you. I was like, yo, if you're not flat, like, you're going to slide around. Like, you really got to be on a level surface. But,
it worked out.
You brought a stove, too. I also brought a stove.
Oh, yeah, that's right, a stove.
But yeah, like, I go camping with the exception of the last year or two, I generally go camping somewhere between 3 and 5 times a year. This year is going to be different because I'm a lot more active in like weddings, and that's on weekends. But even like weekdays, we could still work that out.
That's the thing is like,
but
you and I can go camping.
Yeah.
Like I had a great time. We had drinks, we had a fire, we had food.
Great conversation.
Great conversations. I think one thing I would change would be the stuff that I bring, a bigger tent, and I would say that I would bring, excuse me, a more wardrobe to be more comfortable in and a way to shower.
Yeah.
Or like at least
Clean
bring a
yourself.
rag and clean myself with, like sweat and all that.
I actually have a tip on that. We can talk about that later. But.
Alrighty then. Moving on. No, but for real, the next time we go camping, I will be more prepared. Like, even I was like, hey, we should go to REI right before I go.
Right.
And they're like, well, we don't really need to spend the money. And
right. I was like,
I legit would have spent money on
everything we really need. You know, I anything that you didn't have that we would have needed, I had. And that's the
reason why you had more than what I did. And it's like, now I know what I need to bring next time.
Yeah.
And when we filled up the back of the truck, it was like
not
even
like
halfway.
25%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh shit. Like, and we even had our bikes. And I was like, damn, there's a lot of room back here. Or you said that. And like, we could bring tables, chairs, we can bring ladders. And
we could bring, I don't know,
cage matches. And like, no, I'm kidding. I'm thinking of WWE now.
But yeah, no, anyway, we've kind of gotten off track.
Yeah, we have, definitely.
The point is, we really needed to just take a break from all of our life. And that trip was really good. And we spent, in typical Georgian eye fashion, we couldn't get away from working. Like, even while we were in the forest, one of the things that we spent a significant amount of time on was talking about how do we talked about it. We missed a week, and how do we structure our week and structure our time so that we can really stay on top of this and also stay on top of some of the other content that we've fallen a little bit off of,
I think an important thing to talk about is the fact that, yes, we were having some mental like breaks and some, self-care.
Self-care.
However, when we did talk about work, we talked about work in a more relaxed environment. It was more of like a friendly thing. It wasn't like, hey, I'm at home. We have a timeline. We have to do this. Let's go.
It was no pressure. It was casual, but it was honest and it was productive.
Yeah.
And and to be honest, like, not only was it those things, it also, we didn't even touch work stuff other than like,
I think podcast stuff is all we really
no, hold on. We didn't touch work stuff until the last night we were there. The last night we were there.
Yeah.
We half the night we talked about the podcast. We talked about the future. We talked about, what our workflow should look like. We talked about a whole lot of stuff to try and get ourselves in a position where this is more of a well-oiled machine, more, more of a flow versus just like, oh, we recorded, but now we need to load it into the computer. We need to cut it. We need to go do the multicam. We need to pull the audio. We need to put it on YouTube. We need to put it on RSS. We need to put it on TikTok. We need to put it on Instagram. We need to put it on YouTube Shorts. Like all of these things, when we're done recording at the end of the day,
we have to create clips, look at audio.
We have to do all
everything.
Of these things. And we don't have up to this point, we didn't have a like specified workflow for that. We didn't have like a set of like, this is our step by step. This is what we need to do. Mm-hmm. And that was causing us to not be consistent. And so you may have noticed that, the first couple of episodes that we had, we dropped TikTok clips. We dropped Instagram Reels. We dropped YouTube Shorts that were like clips from the episode that we had just recorded that we thought added value or were funny or, something to catch people's attention. And the last, I think 2 episodes we've done, we haven't done that because we record, we do the multicam, we do the video, export that, we pull the audio, we upload that. And then it's like, okay, we have so many more things to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point is, we had a really good time camping. We had a really good time, taking a moment intentionally to care for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And in that process, we were able to calmly come back.
Structure a new, better wave of media for New Wave Media.
So, yes. So, anyway, moving forward, like, hopefully things are a little more streamlined, a little more consistent. This will come out. We're recording this on
the 16th
of May, which is the day after we were supposed to release our next episode. We are going to wait until the next Monday to
release this one, which is why we missed the Monday.
Exactly. We decided instead of trying to shove 2 podcasts into 1 week, we're going to just miss a week. We're going to explain ourselves. And in classic George and Elijah fashion, it took us 18 minutes to do that. And just understand now that moving forward, hopefully things are a little bit more consistent, a little more smooth, and there's a lot more to come from us. But we've been busy, George.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So
let's transition to the new thing.
So here's the thing. One of the big things that got in the way, I'm not even going to say that. That just sounds like a cop-out. One of the big things that we worked on recently.
Yeah.
You had an engagement shoot for a wedding client that actually was going to be your wedding client, and then they rescheduled and you weren't available, so now they're my wedding client. So now they're
your wedding client.
So,
which is not a big deal,
by
the way,
cool.
Everybody out there. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Elijah and I work together. He's shooting a couple things for me, and he's getting this wedding client, and it's like, at the end of the day, we all have to have food on our table.
Yeah.
And as long as it's the people that I care about have that food, and it's not going, to a place where that sounds bad.
Yeah.
Anyone's got to eat.
Let's back up. Everybody's got to eat.
Yeah.
But you and I work very closely together. Obviously, you and I work very closely together, and we work very well together. And so, if I can't do a wedding or I can't do an event, the first place I'm going to point somebody is to you. And I think that is the same vice versa. Like if you have something,
I'm kidding.
I know you're going to go for someone that shoots Canon. And if you can't find anybody, you're going to call me.
It's got to be,
when you can't find anybody, you're going to call me. But anyway, so we did this engagement session. You did the engagement session for my wedding client.
It was fucking epic.
So tell us about it, George.
So let's talk about the very beginning here. First of all, leading to the engagement shoot, I want to say even a full-blown week leading up to that. sunny,
beautiful,
sunny. Man, today's hot. Dang, the engagement shoot. Man, this morning it's looking hot today.
Yeah, the day of the shoot, it was
3 hours before the engagement shoot. Man, look at these clouds, dude. I think it's going to start raining. I wonder if they're going to cancel or want to reschedule. And it's like 30 minutes before their shoot, it was pouring rain. There was literal thunder the sky.
Yeah, and when we
lightning.
say pouring rain, it's not like, you know, a lot of people, I think, when they think, oh God, it's raining, it's like
It's sprinkling.
It's like raining.
This you can go outside with a light jacket.
This
like,
was a
no.
downpour for the entirety of the session.
Exactly.
Absolutely. We came out of that session. We were both wearing jackets. Neither one of them were
waterproof.
Particularly waterproof.
They were semi-waterproof.
But it was a layer. Yeah. It was a layer on top of us. I took my jacket off when we got back and was wet from my chest to my torso. Like my entire torso was wet.
It was an epic one. And
normally, I think, okay, so here's kind of a thing. Normally, I think as photographers, when we see that, we're like, oh, we should reschedule. Yeah. Let's wait for the golden light. Let's reschedule this and make sure it's ideal. Yeah. And these clients, we tried that. We, you know, not to just, you know, try to get out of it or whatever, but like it was shitty outside. Yeah. It was cold, it was windy, it was pouring rain.
One of my biggest concerns was like, first of all, we both have weatherproof equipment.
Right.
However,
it's still scary.
I'm one of the people that's like, well, if I don't really, really, really have to, like if it's the wedding day, no problem. But this is an engagement shoot. Like, you know, the one day we're doing an engagement shoot is the only day it's going to rain.
Right.
So can we reschedule this to a other day, to another, even if it's the next day? Like, let's reschedule it if needed. But they were like, well, you know, like, I think we should really do it and just.
They were ready.
Just do it.
They were ready.
Do it, yeah.
They were in the area. They were excited about it. They were ready. They were down. They showed up with like a clear umbrella, which is like so Instagram.
Yeah.
And you know, they were ready to wing it. And if your client is ready to wing it, you better fucking be ready to wing it, dude. Yeah,
exactly. And that's honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
On a situation like that day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but I was like, are you guys comfortable? Like after shooting a little bit, remember how I told you, I was like, I'm going to be under the trees. I'm going to be in the shade. I'm going to be, you know, well, there's obviously shade everywhere.
Right.
But under the trees. Undercover.
Yeah. You're going to try to keep your gear as dry as possible is the point.
Even though they're rated for that, but it's like, there's always that risk. Yeah. And then I don't know if you noticed this, but I was like taking photos of them. Like, we were getting poured on. Yeah. But then I was like, hey, are you comfortable just being directly in the rain and just going for it?
Right.
Let me grab your umbrella.
You literally shot like one spot and you were like, I think like because I didn't shoot this. I kind of took behind the scenes with your phone and like I was there, but I didn't shoot any of it. So my observation was like, you were really tripping. You were really tripping before that shoot about getting your gear wet.
Yeah.
And I think we you know, you set up the first shot and you were like, oh wait, fuck, this could be really cool. Like, I think I saw that click.
I saw that too. And I even said something. I was like, hey man, like, I don't really like this, but I'm getting my gear wet and it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's one of those things, like, you really have to be open to just saying fuck it sometimes. Like, we're professionals. We have this gear. If it gets fucked up because we decide... because we want to chase an artistic vision, we want to chase like, oh shit, this looks like this could be worth it. If it's what's right for your client, just do it. Like,
exactly, yeah.
More often than not, if you don't let water like pool on top of your camera, it's gonna be. I
mean, you're gonna submerge this, then you're pretty much fucked.
Right, but
and it's like even though it was pouring down rain, like. I know not to point the camera up because there's water going into the lens barrel. You know what I mean?
You're going to put it in your jacket when you're not shooting. Like, you're going to keep it as dry as possible. You're going to wipe it off as much as you can. Like,
and it all added to the aesthetic of it. And I want to say, like, maybe a little more than 50% of the time, like, I was holding onto their umbrella.
Right.
I was under the umbrella, shooting with my other hand. And, like, that was protecting it. Although I didn't need the protection of, you know, getting the water in the camera, but
you felt better, which allowed you to be more comfortable, which allowed you to go that extra mile.
Threshold of like it's 100% raining, 100% getting water for the 100% of the shoot.
Yeah,
really didn't sit with me well.
Yeah,
and then it was like, well, now it's 50% of the time, 50% of the water, and 50% of this, and that.
Yeah,
that made me feel better. Therefore, I became more creative and. Man, all the fucking photos came out great.
There were so many, you know, I think that
And they started off very, very nervous.
Oh yeah, they were awkward at first.
Very awkward. Like, we've never been in front of the camera.
As soon as you took like 2 or 3 different sets of photos, like 2 or 3 different, locations within, a short walk from each other, like the first 20 minutes or so, you showed them the camera 3 or 4 times, and every time you showed them the camera, they were so stoked that they just loosened up.
I think that's the important thing is like when you show, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, it's like showing the back of the camera makes you, it makes you a more confident photographer.
It makes you look more confident for sure.
And it will open up your clients because they're like, oh, he knows what he's doing. I'm just going to just let loose.
Just let him do his thing.
And they're not even edited yet, bro. Right. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. I think the cool thing, that I really kind of took away from that session, that I don't really think about a lot is like my instinct generally is if I know that weather's going to be bad on the day of a session, I want to reschedule it because I want my client to be comfortable.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's worth it to ask your client, like, are you comfortable?
I have a great example.
Not try to get out of it because the weather's bad. Like, ask your client, like, hey, how do you feel about this? Because if you're willing to do this, sometimes like the compositions that you come up with, the opportunities that you have as far as background, as far as like things that don't normally happen, like things you don't normally capture. Like, when's the last time you even took pictures in the rain?
Like 2 years ago.
Right.
And it was one of my absolute favorite.
Because, I think the reason for that is because rain, moisture in general, like snow, rain, even like recent rain, adds so much mood and so much punch to the colors.
People open up too because it's like, oh well, fuck it, it's raining. I don't even give a shit anymore.
And
but
if they're down
in a good way,
if they're down, like they just. There was a point in this engagement session where we literally had them like dancing in the rain. We had them we had him pick her up and spin her around in the rain, like classic like romantic film concepts, and they were doing them, and the photos that you got out of that were incredible, absolutely incredible.
Asking the client whether they're comfortable just shooting in the rain or not is very important because the last week, the prior engagement we did was you were there shooting for New Wave Media content.
Yeah,
and
it was the same location.
Same location, yes, correct.
Very different scenario.
Very different scenario because even at that engagement I was like, hey, like 5 days ago I was just here and we photographed and it was beautiful and it's pouring rain today. So that being said, one of the important things about asking the client rather than like, oh, I want to reschedule because of this, it's like the client that we recently did with the rainy day shoot was, hey, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
The client before that was like, hey, I actually was proposed to in the rain and I don't want that.
Oh, really?
I want to be in more of a sunny or at least like cloudy weather, but no rain. I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Let's reschedule.
And we got a beautiful, beautiful day for it.
It was amazing.
Yeah. The light on that day, the time of day.
Dude.
The light that we got through the trees and like, that was when you think of like a golden hour engagement session,
man,
that was the quintessential golden hour
thing.
Engagement session. It was gorgeous.
Here's the thing. We talk about like, oh man, the rainy session was like one of the best engagement shoots I've ever done.
Yeah.
But it was so beautiful.
But part of the reason for that is because it's just one of the most unique ones you've ever done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But literally the week before, we literally had an amazing golden hour through the trees, the light behind them, poking through, beautiful engagement. Yeah. And I was like...
Their outfits were great.
Oh,
they were great.
Neutral. They were fun. Yeah. Great.
They were up for anything, which is just a dream. Like,
yeah, man.
There's nothing worse than being like, oh, hey, I'd really like to do this thing here. And they're like, I don't really want to do that.
And so the thing is, like, I want to touch into this is like, every single engagement, or not even engagement, every single photo shoot that you've been with, or I've been to yours, we're shooting content for New Wave Media.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Right. However, the way I approach it is one, which is very, very true, is, hey, I have Elijah. I have a colleague, a friend, and a videographer who wants to get into
get a little more
shooting
experience.
more experience and being able to get what he needs for these weddings.
Yeah.
Can he come along? Are you interested in getting video footage? If I can put something together, it's yours for free. Don't even worry about it, kind of thing, you know?
And if not, oh well, you still get your photos. That's what you came here for in the first place.
Exactly.
Win-win.
And the thing is, like, for this particular couple, the wedding planner was like, hey, so-and-so works here, so-and-so works here. They want to kind of keep their life private. You know what I mean? And during that session, we found out a lot about them. They found out a lot about us. And it's like, we want to provide whatever we can to make them happy at the same time to get our content. And one of the things they said was like, absolutely post it. Absolutely. What is this? What is that? Like, do it. Do sneak peeks. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was being accommodating to the, because this wedding client was a little different than most.
Yeah.
Usually I do business with the wedding clients and then they give me the wedding planner's information and we communicate.
Yeah, yeah.
This one was a little bit different. The wedding planner reached out to me and reached out to like 3 or 4 other photographers. And she straight up was like super blunt and was like, hey, I'm reaching out and I'm gathering information to see what photographer is the best fit for my client.
Right.
So I didn't even talk to the client until I made sure I was able to go through the wedding coordinator or the wedding planner. And once I was on the wedding planner's radar, then she was like, hey, here's your top 5 choices.
Yeah.
After that, the couple was like, hey, I want this guy. They finally, through the wedding coordinator, she reached out to me. She said, hey, this is what I want. This is what needs to happen for the contract. And I was like, I'm super open to doing that. Absolutely. No problem. Like,
well, what you're talking about, the privacy part of it.
Yeah, like you know, they don't really want their faces posted. Can you, if you want to post something on your social media portfolio, can you ask the clients first?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I've only been rarely approached about this, and I'm like, at the end of the day, like, I'm working for you as the client, and if that's something you want to do, I'm gonna charge a little bit extra. I'm going to say sure, and I'm there for you as a professional, and I respect that, and I'll put it in my contract. As long as, one, I get paid my wage, I get paid everything I need to do, and you're happy with your things. Like,
Yeah.
We are the professionals.
That's, at the end of the day, like, not being able to post faces on socials is not a deal breaker.
It's not.
It's
I
just,
can post rings.
It's just different. Because part of the contract, part of the incentive for us to do these things and part of what helps us continue to grow our businesses is to be able to use, you know, photos that we do for our clients in marketing on social media, like use those images to show people what we do.
Exactly.
And so when there's a client that may not want to be in that public eye, you know, you work something out with them. Some photographers charge a little extra. Some photographers won't do it. You know, it just depends on, and some photographers will just accommodate it and not worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those things though, but I guess you don't necessarily see that all that often. And so when you run into it, it's kind of a unique situation.
Yeah. And then, like, the big thing is, like, I got confirmation from them, not only through verbal, but also through email. And they were like, absolutely post these. Like, this is your job kind of thing, you know? And so to get to the bigger picture is, like, you were there to do New Wave Media content.
Right.
But you were also there to learn videography.
Yeah, to practice.
Understand how that works.
Yeah.
Especially with the camera that we're working with, and practice.
Right. Well, and it's, you know, on the topic of videography, like, I think in past podcasts, maybe not in New Wave Media, but in the New Wave Creatives days, and like even maybe as far back as when, you know, you first interviewed me on the first iteration of this podcast, like, I've been pretty open about the fact that video is something that I kind of recognize a need for. Like, I kind of recognize and I kind of feel that photographers in this day and age, like, kind of need to have some amount of video experience, or a go-to videographer that is available when they're available,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like on staff kind of thing. Because wedding videos, even engagement videos, like event videos, video in general is really becoming it's becoming a more of a commodity. It's becoming more of something that people want.
Exactly.
And over the years, like I've seen this trend growing, and part of my thing has been like, I've been taking stills for 16 years. I don't want to learn the new thing. I don't want to get into video. I don't want to take moving stills. That's not what I'm interested in. But, I think that really where it started was,
was it the B Studio?
It was the B Studio BTS video, which is on our YouTube channel. And that day, like, and I think we touched on this in like maybe the first podcast, like I showed up to that with the intent of putting a trigger on my camera and shooting with a strobe. Like I showed up intending to shoot in studio. And not only did we set up and never once use our strobes. Not only did we not use our strobes, I never took any still photos that day. You brought your C70 and your plan was to get a little bit of BTS of me and for me to get a little bit of BTS of you. And what ended up happening is I picked up the C70 and I started playing around and I was like, ooh, dude, I'm feeling this today. Like this is something I want. Like, and that's something I've never, like I've shot video. I've tried vlogging. I've shot some like videos for like a friend of mine's cars that he was importing at the time. And like, I've dabbled in video a little bit, but it's never kind of bit me. It's never been like, ooh, I'm enjoying this. And then we did that B Studio shoot and like, man, I feel like I was amazed at the content that I created that day with so little experience and so little knowledge. Like I picked up the camera and I used the principles that I know in still photography and I just introduced movement to it. And we created something that I think was really beautiful and really really high quality and well done. And
absolutely.
Like when I saw that, I was like, all right, man, like I think it was not long after that we had the conversation of like, hey, like maybe this is something we should be doing. Like let's take video at each other's sessions. Let's like try to make content and use this C70 and use the video functions of the cameras that we have to create content, you know? And like now I'm kind of in the space where like you've booked me to shoot 2 weddings, like film 2 weddings for you. And I have never filmed a wedding, but I've shot a million of them. And so it's kind of that same concept of like, you take the video camera and you do what you would do with a still camera, but you just introduce some motion.
Yeah. And
right?
I'm really happy that sparked that because even that day I was like, hey man, like, are you sure you want to do video?
Yeah,
like,
you were like really surprised. You were like, I think that you thought maybe I was just trying to like appease you. Like, I was trying to like do you a favor or whatever. And like, in a way, like part of it was that. Part of it is like, hey, I know this content would benefit you.
Yeah.
But part of it, like most of it, selfishly, honestly, was that I took the first couple of shots and I looked at them on the camera and I like watched them back on the camera and I was like, yo.
Oh, like video, you watched them back.
Like I watched the, I played them back on the back of the camera and like I saw them and was like, yo, these are kind of sick. Like I really like what I'm creating here.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was one of those things where it was easy. Like it was effortless because what we were shooting was interesting, captivating. The light was amazing. The space was amazing. It was new. It was fresh for us. It was exciting.
Would you say it was like new wave media?
It was some real new wave shit, you know?
Yeah.
But no, man, we like, it was just really cool how that sparked that in me. And now like, then we did this engagement session and like, for me, like I was there to make new wave content, but I also knew that part of the conversation you had with the clients was, hey, like he's going to shoot some content like behind the scenes. And if possible, we'll like put a little video together for you. And so I was running around like crazy that day trying to both shoot BTS because we had you mic'd up.
Yeah, that
And-
was this was one of the first sessions because shortly after was your senior photo.
Right.
Photo shoot.
Right. It was the first session that we were mic'd.
Mic'd up.
Yep. We shot a little intro. Like, and that video will come. We'll get it done.
It will. It just we've been busy, but
But the point is, like, you were mic'd up. The point was we were making New Wave Media YouTube content today. And I was running around like crazy trying to shoot New Wave Media content, but also get like creative clips to put together to give them
For
a
them,
video.
yeah.
And it fucking paid off.
dude, let me explain.
paid
that.
off.
I want to touch on that.
Yeah. Tell us about why did
It-
it pay off? What do I
Dude,
mean?
Let me just.
Hey,
Well, none of these.
none of those are right.
None of these are right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it paid off because listen here, for anyone out there, when you go above and beyond for your clients, they will notice, they will see, they will
Absolutely.
verbally tell you like, "Wow,
Yeah.
we didn't think of this.
Right.
Thank you so much for bringing this to the table.
So what happened?
We want to book Elijah for 8 hours at our wedding for videography." And then I was like,
Period.
absolutely.
Right.
Thank you so much. You loved the video. You did this, you did that, whatever. And basically, like, our intention was not to upsell them.
No.
Our intention was to give them something fun in return to do some behind the scenes
In return
New
for
Wave.
letting us do this, right?
Yeah.
But what did we learn?
Well, they absolutely loved what we did.
Right.
And they were like, hey, I forget, it's my aunt, I think, my mom/aunt
Yeah. One of those
is very, very happy with the video. She posted it immediately
I think she said
after.
everyone loves the video.
Exactly. And then, so she was like, so my aunt/mom, I think it's like a mom aunt, like somebody that's really close.
Mont.
A mont.
A mont.
She reached out and said she would love to gift this to us, and
Right.
she's going to reach out to you so that she can book it directly for us.
Yeah.
And she didn't even hesitate on the price. Originally, she was like, if it's not like an arm and a leg, like
Right,
we'd
we would
love
be
to do
interested.
this.
Right,
and then I was
right.
like, oh, it's not. If you go through me, it's not because I have the guy to do it, which
Yeah.
is you.
Yeah.
And I'm the one editing, so I
Right.
have the control.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, perfect. Here's a price. You know, we did go back and forth for a little bit before I sent you the email, and I was like, hey, she wanted to know when exactly and how much video should I really need. And I was like,
Right.
super honest. I was like, honestly, you should just get it from the end of getting ready
Yeah.
to the beginning of when everybody starts dancing,
Yeah.
not just
A little
you
bit
know.
of the dancing, a little bit of the getting ready, and everything in between.
And that was like 6 hours
Yeah,
originally.
6.
And then I was like, but I am there for 8.
Yeah.
So, you know, if that's something you'd want to do, then, you know, Elijah would be there either up until then, and then he would leave 2 hours early or whatever. And then she was like, no, my mont, I'm using it again. My mont really, really liked the video.
Yeah.
And she just wants to pay for it outright. And I was
Yeah.
like, perfect. Here, you know, share my information.
Yeah.
I'll wait for her to reach out to me and we'll go from there.
Right. So by going above and beyond for, I mean, it was partially to provide, I mean, like, it was mutually beneficial. You know, we provided a benefit to the client.
Yeah.
And that benefit happened to benefit us too, because it's going to help us build this brand and like build
Yeah.
content for this brand. But what it ended up doing was,
And that was the original intention.
right. But what it ended up doing, and this was never the goal, but it you know, it kind of opens doors and it kind of opens ideas for us. Like, what it ended up doing was showing our client with their own persona, with their own them. It's them.
Yeah.
It's content with them in it, showing them what they could have on their big day
Yeah.
versus just their engagement. And like, they saw that, they recognized that, and they said, dude, let's do that. And like, I think that kind of really speaks, I think it's a really big example of like a space where photographers can really go above and beyond, can really go that extra mile. Every modern mirrorless camera has a button on it to start recording.
Yeah.
If you take a couple clips while you're doing, even if you're by yourself, I mean, we're very fortunate because of the gear that we're using, and because we're a team and we work very well together.
Yeah.
It's seamless. When we go out there and we do these things, it's seamless. We communicate minimally because I know what you're up to. I stay out of your way, you stay out of my way. We respect each other's space, and we both create quality content. We work wonderfully well together in that respect. But even if you're not fortunate enough to have someone that you work with that well, or B, you're doing these things on your own, any camera that you have, you can take a couple clips.
Yeah.
Make a 30-second video clip in slow-mo with
I've
some
done
cool
that.
take a video clip, 30 seconds, put a little 30-second movie together for your client, put it in slow-mo, record it in, minimum 60p, slow it down in post, put this little video together with some good music, some calming whatever music, and send it to your client. And before you know it, you may have them asking you like, hey, can we book 8 hours of video coverage? Like, this is not something that we necessarily thought we wanted, but now seeing it in the flesh and seeing us in that, we want that. We want to take that home. We want to have that for our future, after our wedding, after the biggest day of our life.
Yeah.
We want to have this little film put together.
And I've that's the thing is, like, as before we even knew each other or we even got this close and worked together, like, I would try to do everything on my own.
Right.
There's videos that I've delivered to clients of their entire wedding day.
Yeah. That are just little clips you've taken throughout the day.
They're little clips I've taken throughout the day.
Yeah.
Enough to represent and to showcase how their day went.
Right.
Unfortunately, because I'm only doing stills and that's what they're paying me for.
Right.
I'm not going to do video during the first kiss.
Right.
I'm not going to do video during the bouquet toss, during the first dance. Like,
unless you set up a second camera.
Unless I set up a second camera. And I can't do everything on my own. So the video that I do capture are video clips of the in-between shots.
Right.
And even that is fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they love it.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, just kind of, for me, like, this is such a new thing. Like, it's a really cool way to add motion to what I already do.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing it come together, and I'm not editing it. It's really cool that you edit it because it makes it a lot more desirable for me. Like, seeing that all come together, like, makes me feel really good and stokes my my confidence. You know what I mean? And it makes me want to explore this route a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, we had a couple of really good shoots over the last couple of weeks. We went camping. We have been busy with some other stuff that we can, like, almost talk about, but we're not there yet. It's just been a really busy couple of weeks.
It has been.
It's been a really busy couple of weeks. To just kind of like touch on a couple of things we've got coming. We have a behind the scenes video coming from that engagement shoot. Not the rainy one. We did not film that because the video camera that we use is not.
It's not waterproof.
It's not good in the rain.
I mean, it's a cinema camera. Like,
right.
It's
and
not
really,
weatherproof.
We didn't even plan for me to go to that shoot originally.
We just happened to be hanging out,
and
we were in
I
the
just
area.
tagged along. And then,
Yeah.
well, actually, yeah, it just worked out the way it did. So we don't have video of that one. We have video of the sunny one in the trees, which was incredible. I can't wait to show that off. To show off how you worked with those clients, because you killed that shoot. The photos you took in that shoot were gorgeous, and the video that came out of it was really cool.
Yeah.
You also came along and you ran the video camera on a senior photo shoot that I did.
Yeah.
With a repeat client of mine who's a really cool kid named Liam. We had about an hour 15 minutes.
An hour 15 minutes. Yeah.
We walked around the central or the inner southeast industrial area of Portland with him. And,
you had a lot of good locations.
We had some really, that area of town is my fucking
Absolutely.
bread and butter. I know everything down there. So we had some really cool spots, got some really cool pictures. I'm finishing up the edits on that. I'm going to deliver them here in the next day or so. And we're going to put that video together. So we'll have some BTS of that. We've got some other shoots coming up pretty soon. We've got some other content that we've talked about making pretty soon. So we've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Even so much as, looking at what it looks like to do weddings together.
Yeah. Branching out from there.
Right. Well, and we don't have a ton of time to really like dive into that, but just to kind of give people an idea, like George and I are constantly, if we're together, we're talking about business. We're talking about our brand. We're talking about what we can do. And I'm so excited about the future of this company, this this
This
podcast.
brand.
This brand.
We're essentially creating a brand that will branch out in multiple different ways.
Yeah, and I can't wait to be able to talk about all of it.
Me too, man.
But you know, there's a lot of really big things to come, and if we're gonna do our best here to stick to Mondays. We're gonna do our best to stick to creating the content and the clips and all the things that we know are valuable to growing this machine here.
Yeah.
If we miss a week here, if we miss a week there, like, forgive us. I promise there's a good reason for it. We're not just being lazy most of the time. We're not just camping most of the time. But sometimes,
Yeah.
we've talked in the past about burnout, and
Personally,
it's a factor sometimes.
Personally, I don't see burnout specifically right now going
No.
through New Wave
No.
because there's multiple different outlets that are
Right.
feeding that.
But what I'm getting at is sometimes we have to take a pause and take
Like
a
the
break
camping trip.
take a thing like the camping trip, or like, a day where we don't work and we go mountain biking, or like sometimes we have to take that space and we have to have that intentional personal, like, time away. Like, there are days where, I would say at this point, most days we're together. Most days we are doing something, working most of the time together.
Yeah.
But there are days where, like, and it's not even really planned, and maybe it should be, but there are days where we don't hardly talk. Like, it's been like 5 days straight we're grinding, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, like, I know George needs a nap. I need a nap. We just gotta, like, day. Bro, I need a nap right now. But anyway, the point is, like, this is really, I say this a lot, and I feel like maybe I should step off the soapbox, but, like, I know this means a lot to both of us. We don't want to miss these episodes. We have a really great time when we do this, but there's a lot going on, and we're doing our best to stay on top of it right now, but it's just the two of us. And
it's just the two of us.
Ooh. So anyway, is there anything else you can?
No, I think we should end it here, just because there's more to come. There's more videos. There's a lot more content we want to pull out.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, like, honestly, just building that content before we start releasing it weekly, because it'll just start releasing weekly, and we have things that are coming to that,
and we have so many concepts and so many, like, things that we're like, man, it's like if we could speed up time a little bit, there's so many things coming that we want to work on here, but we're almost there, and we're doing our best here. And to those of you that do listen and do watch and do subscribe and do give us feedback and do interact with us in our Discord channel, like, we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
We can't wait for more people to join and more people to get involved, and we love to hear what people think and what people have to offer us.
So let's end it with, like, where can the people find you, Elijah?
You stole my line, bro.
I know, I had to.
All right. You can find me on Instagram at Wijah Gone Wild, WIJAH Gone Wild on Instagram. And you can find me on my website if you're looking for photography services, or if you're looking for anything else that I do. All Love Images, ALLOVE images.com/bio. Everything in my life that's important to you is there. So check that out.
How about your OnlyFans?
That's under construction right now. I'm not quite ready to release that information, but that is, one of the things that we've been talking about is coming. Keep an eye out. We'll get you information on that ASAP. But George, where can the people find you?
So you can find me at georgepadillaphotography.com/links, and you'll find everything from, like, the TikTok, the YouTube, the New Wave Media Instagram, to my Instagram, to my website, to everything that you need to know is there. georgepadillaphotography.com/links. Soon we will have a New Wave Media website. So
eventually,
stay tuned. So
it's a little spoiler part of the plan. It's coming.
So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for listening, and we appreciate you all.
Yo, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Sweet.